Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf of Life Book Reviews online. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch my videos, which I hope you will find informative. And when you go to your local bookstore, you will seriously consider the book that I'm about to review for you. And the book is The Boys from Biloxi by John Grisham. This is published by Doubleday and it retails for $39.95. John Grisham is certainly a well-known name in the fiction world. He has had 47 straight #1 bestsellers. Well, now he has 48, thanks to The Boys from Biloxi. It is typical John Grisham, if you like a John Grisham book with a mixture of suspense and legal matters, then this is certainly a book that you will want to add to your collection. John Grisham excels in the legal world as he was a lawyer, and he certainly knows the ins and outs of the legal trade. And he adds that, giving it an extra dimension to all his fiction books. And in this particular book, The Boys from Biloxi, it begins in the early 1960s, in Biloxi, of course, and it involves two young boys by the name of Keith Rudy and Hugh Malco. And they are the best of friends. And they're in the Little League Baseball League, and they're very close. They're like BFFs, best friends, and it stays that way for a while. But as time progresses, they sort of grow apart and go into their own world as dictated by their parents. Now, Keith's father, Jess, is a noted lawyer in the community, and he is part of the law and order world where he wants to see justice prevail, and those who are against the law should get punished. Now, Hugh, on the other side of the token, his father's name is Lance, and his father runs a sort of bars where he has strip club, where he also dabbles in drugs, booze, prostitution, and it's the total opposite side of the coin. And so as Keith grows up in his world, he learns from his father, and unfortunately, Hugh also learns bad habits from his father as he sees what seems to be a moneymaker. Now, the book does progress to 1969 when there is a terrible hurricane devastates the region, and a lot of homes are destroyed, and people's lives are basically ruined. Now, Jess, the lawyer, he sees that a lot of the insurance companies are not honoring the claims because it was really a force of nature. So he fights for the little guy. That's what he's always done, and that's what he always will be. So Keith sees that, and he does eventually get into the legal business, pretty well taking over his father's business. Now, at that point, both Keith and Hugh are sort of I won't say they're friends, like they are cognizant of one another, but what they once had is certainly gone in the past. Now, the book revolves around the two young boys who are now grown men. The book advances, decade by decade, and we see a lot of Hugh's world in the form of his father's business. Now, he's into unscrupulous things, and he doesn't mind getting into the drug business, the prostitution business. He runs a strip club, and he certainly is not on the side of law and order. Now, also in town happens to be a very corrupt sheriff who sort of turns the other cheek because there's a lot in it for him in the world of the illegal drugs and booze and prostitutes. So it's basically Keith versus Hugh in this world here, and it is typical John Grisham. There's a lot of violence. There are murders that take place because of the drug world, prostitution world, and so in typical John Grisham fashion, he gives to the reader a very strong story, and of course, as with the John Grisham book, there is a legal aspect too. There is a court case, and he knows how to write court cases, as anyone who's read a John Grisham book certainly knows. And so the book is long. It's I think it's about 450 or so pages. But with John Grisham, the book, you just breeze through it, thanks to the characters, thanks to the legal aspect of it. And basically, you either love the characters, which you will definitely like Keith, because he's a good, upstanding lawyer in the community, and you'll sort of boo Hugh Melko because he is on the side of the bad guys. And so it makes for a very interesting story and a very riveting conclusion as well too. So in typical John Grisham fashion, the Boys from Biloxi is, well, book number 48, straight number ones. And if you've never read a John Grisham book, and I suppose there would be some who are not into legal type thrillers, well, this is certainly a book that if you wanted to start and become acquainted with John Grisham, this is certainly the book to do it with, because it will send you back to look at other John Grisham tales from many, many years ago. So that's the book I wanted to draw to your attention. Hopefully you will agree with me. Please send me a note if you do read it. If you do agree or you don't agree, I would still love to hear from you. So thank you as always for taking the time to watch Shelf Life Book Reviews online. I will be back shortly with another great work of either fiction or nonfiction. I have so much to choose from. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.